Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of history's greatest, paradoxes. It's the story of an invention that created millions of fortunes but left its own creator completely broke. Just imagine this for a second. In 1454, you are on the absolute brink of finishing your life's work, a project that is literally going to change the world. Then just 1 year later, you're sued, you're bankrupted, and you're forced to hand over everything you've built. That's what happened. The inventor of the modern book went from the edge of triumph to total ruin, just like that. So, how on earth did this happen? How could the man who gave words to the millions end up such a spectacular failure? Okay, let's get into this incredible story of innovation and, heartbreak. For 20 years, Gutenberg obsessed over these little oblongs of metal. But inside them was a truly revolutionary idea. See, before him, you had to carve an entire page from a single block of wood. Gutenberg thought, what if you could assemble a page from individual letters, and then just reuse those same letters for the next page, and the next? His process was so elegant, it was almost like a magic trick. You arrange the little metal letters, you ink them up, you press a sheet of paper down, and poof, you lift it up to reveal a perfect, identical page of text. This system could churn out pages with incredible speed and consistency. And this is where you really see the leap forward. The old way, carving a page from Word, was painstakingly slow, often pretty crude, and that block was only good for that one single page. With movable type, any book, literally any book, could be made from the same set of elegant, precise, and infinitely reusable metal letters. It was a total game changer. But here's the thing. The genius of the idea was not matched by the fortune of the inventor. In fact, when you look at it, Gutenberg's entire life just seemed to be one stroke of bad luck after another. His life was just a constant struggle. He got exiled from his hometown, tangled up in lawsuits, and was always borrowing money to keep his experiments afloat. And that constant need for cash is what ultimately did him in. His main investor, a guy named Johann Fust, sued him to get his money back. And poof, Gutenberg lost everything. So here's the tragic irony. His masterpiece, the project that should have made him famous and rich, the Gutenberg Bible, was the very thing that bankrupted him. It was this massive, expensive project, his one great final gamble. And right before he could cash in, his investor pulled the plug. So Gutenberg himself just kind of fades into obscurity and dies a business failure. But his idea was just getting started. It was about to completely transform the course of human history. You see, while Gutenberg was struggling, the technology itself escaped the workshop. As one historian put it, it spread with hurricane force across the entire globe. And I mean, it moved fast. Within just a couple of decades, printing presses were popping up all over Europe, Italy, Switzerland, France. Then it hits England. And before you know it, it had crossed the Atlantic to Mexico City. The world was literally being rewritten. The impact was just staggering. It gave ideas a power they never ever had before. It fueled the Protestant Reformation by spreading Martin Luther's pamphlets everywhere. It created this new thing called public opinion, which allowed revolutionary ideas like Thomas Paine's common sense to reach pretty much everyone. And for the very first time, universal literacy actually seemed possible. But of all these massive impacts, maybe the most profound, the deepest one, is the one that's least obvious. Printing wasn't just about spreading new ideas. It was about protecting the old ones. See, before the printing press, books were all handwritten manuscripts. They were incredibly rare, incredibly precious. All of our collective knowledge was stored in just a handful of libraries. And those libraries, they were unbelievably vulnerable. If one burned down or was destroyed in a war, centuries of human thought could just vanish in an instant. To really get the scale of this loss, just think about one of the greatest playwrights of all time, the Greek dramatist Sophocles. We know from records that he wrote about 100 plays. And yet, today, we only have 7 of them. 7! That means over 90% of his life's work is just gone, wiped from history, lost forever because the few handwritten copies that existed were destroyed or just rotted away over time. Printing changed that forever by making hundreds and then thousands of identical copies of a book and scattering them all over the world. The press made sure that a single fire in a single library could never again wipe out our collective memory. It basically created a distributed backup for all of human culture. It made knowledge immortal. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It's the ultimate story of an idea being so much bigger, so much more successful than its creator. Gutenberg's personal story, yeah, it's a tragedy of debt and failure. But his work is one of the greatest successes in human history. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other world-changing ideas came from people we've never even heard of?